Hey everybody, welcome to Midday Market. Uh, midday Market. What's the other word?
Update.
Yeah, make it
Update.
wow. Midday Market update. Wow. It's
Yep.
Monday. It's Monday. I got a case of the Mondays. Joey has a case of the Mondays. I think we all have a case of the Mondays. If I'm coming across loud and clear, please let me know that you can hear me, preferably with VV Nation in the chat, and let me know where you're tuning in from. And we've got our people both on YouTube and Facebook, and I will be monitoring the chat on Facebook as well. Tell me when. Now?
You good?
All right. So I'll be. Sigh. It's your fault.
Yeah.
Always your fault. By the way, say hi to Joey in the background too. He's my producer. My name is Glenn Tompkins, senior instructor here at VectorVest. Always glad to be there. Always glad to be here. Always glad that you're here as well to support the channel. We try to put out as best the content we can to keep you guys updated on what's really going on in the market. And today's alert said dead cat bounce. Interesting how the market went up today and is doing a rapid pullback even as we speak. My biggest thing in regards to the market moving higher is where's the news? Where's the news that substantiates the market's move to higher points? All right. And I think right now we're still buying stocks, or big money is buying stocks because they've been beaten up so much and they see these opportunities as buying opportunities. The market moves up, but very quickly it's not able to stay there. Not able to stay there. So that's what's going on. Let's see. We got Drew here. We've got Roger here from Arizona. Raphael from Calgary. Stock Time here from Pittsburgh. Douglas in Texas. John from Boston. Head and Shoulders on the Qs. I'll take a look at that, Al. On Facebook, we have Halal is here. Halal, you don't want to put all that information out there. That you don't want to do that. You don't want everybody to start spamming you. Marion is from here from Texas. Modes, VectorVest forecast, OTC stocks. I'm not sure what you're asking me. Not Neil. I'm not sure what you're asking me. Jeff is here from Brisbane, Australia. I got somebody else. I've got Will here from Palestine. Love that we have the opportunity to touch people from all over the world, and glad that you tune in for Midday Market. All right. And it really is live action on what's going on today. New comment. Let's go scroll down. Where's it at? It says new comment, but it doesn't show me that. All right. So let's get hot and heavy into it. The first thing I want to do is I want to look at what's going on in the market timing graph. Let's go to the graphs. Good. And let's get into the graph. I missed it. There we go. VectorVest program. There we go. This is the market. And I think I'm going to take my camera off just for a second. This is what we call the VectorVest composite. It's an indexed arithmetic average of all of the stocks that we track. So the movement that you see here on candlesticks tracks the movement of about 9,000 stocks. And this is what we use for timing the market. Now, this is what I was talking about. The market was moving up. We've got a wedge here, which is a consolidation pattern. We've got higher lows. We've got lower highs converging together to make a wedge. What we're looking for is the direction of which the composite will break out. To the upside, we should have some more upside. To the downside, we should have more downside. But the 3 and the 8s are coinciding with the move to the upside using this as a trend line. All right, here's that dead cat bounce today. Green candle, because we're still higher than Friday's low. Okay, but look at the selling pressure on the wick at the top of the candle. A lot of selling pressure. And let's leave that alone, and let's go move this from an end of day to intraday, 5-minute bars, current day. Look at the pullback in the market. Now, the market gapped up this morning. There's the gap. We have now started to fade the gap in the market open this morning. Look at that. So we gapped up nicely this day, today, pulled back to 3 and the 8 held, hit new highs, leveled out. The market fell. There's the 3 and the 8 failing. We fell through the level of the gap this morning, right here first. We rebounded and said, yay! And very quickly, since we've been on, the 3 and the 8 have gone back down again. Do we predict over-the-counter stocks? No, we don't predict on any kind of stock. That's not what we do, Neil. We don't predict anything. For the purposes of what we do, we keep our subscribers on the right side of the market, and we keep our eyes on what's going on with individual stocks to help you to make better decisions. Now, we have indicators that will give us probability. I've got an indicator called relative value that tells me the stock's long-term upside potential over the next 1 to 3 years. We have relative safety, RS, which looks at the company's ability to meet or exceed earnings expectations. We've got RT, relative timing, which looks at the short-term price trend of the market or of an individual stock. So there's a lot of things that we can use to put the probabilities on our side, but predictions we do not do. We do not predict anything at all. MH, is there a way to only get the daily market newsletter, or do I have to subscribe to the entire VectorVest platform? You have to subscribe to the platform. Now, I believe there are I do believe that there are mobile subscriptions as low as about $5. All right. I believe there is. I don't have Lisa in the background, but I believe that there are subscriptions as low as $5 on the mobile side, all the way up to like $20 on the mobile side. And then after that, you would go to the desktop version. So I believe that even with that $5 mobile app subscription, you get access to the daily market newsletter as well. All right. So I wanted to show what the market looked like today. Nice. And that's why my alert said dead cat bounce. Are we exhibiting some semblance of a bounce today without any follow through? And we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about that and look at a lot of these indicators on a longer term perspective, especially when I looked at this most recent graph. Remember when I put this back on in end of day 3-month graph, this is some semblance of what's going on. All right. Oh, Boston is here. Hello, Boston. Gotcha. Look at that. Everybody say hello to Boston. Boston is here in the background. Way to go, Boston. Even though she's here now because it is her time to be here. But she's here and looking and she's awesome. She helps me out in the background. All right. But this is going to be very important to look at where we stand in the market right now. Where we stand in the market. We are consolidating by way of this wedge. Let's see if the market's got the wherewithal of the legs to break out to the upside, or will it succumb to legs to the downside and fall further out of the wedge to the downside? All right. So Monica says, hello, I have a question about the wedge. What VectorVest indicator can help us catch the move from the bottom of that wedge? Well, Monica, I'm just looking at what's going on with it. I'm watching the characteristics. Now, what is VectorVest going to do to help us to catch? Let me see what you said. Catch the move from the bottom of the wedge. Is you got to watch it. And I'm watching it right now on an end of day perspective, so I can just watch it day after day after day. Primary wave seems to be too fast, too noisy. Yeah, notice that I'm not using any market timing here. Notice I don't have any market timing on this graph, Monica. I'm strictly looking at what the formation is showing me. Nothing more, nothing less. Kevin says that would be the wedgie indicator. Yeah, we ain't got one of those. You gotta see it when it happens. And when it happens, even on an individual stock, you draw the lines. And every time you come back to that stock, even on a nightly basis, you can see how close it's getting to the top of the wedge or to the bottom of the wedge. That's probably the best way that I can answer your question, Monica. All right. Joey already put my camera back on. All right. Let's get into what news is moving the market in the direction in which it is. Let's get to my news story. And you know me, I always like to start off with what's going on in the economy. The Fed's Mester says inflation hasn't peaked. Inflation hasn't peaked. Do you see that? Sigh. That inflation hasn't peaked, which means that what we're going through right now seems like it's going to get worse before it gets better. All right? Hasn't peaked, and multiple half-point rate hikes are needed. Multiple half-point rate hikes are needed. I am of the mindset that before this is all done and said and done, we need at least one rate hike, 100 basis points. That's my opinion. If you're going to really go after inflation. Now, there's a lot of people that say, well, the job market is picking up. We added a lot of jobs in May, which we did. But then when we look at the unemployment numbers every week, that keeps fluctuating back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Why are the jobs picking up in May? I think that a lot of people are saying in order for us to get people to come to work, we are going to have to raise wages. And I think that for the workers, this is a great time for the workers because in order for you, I think that it's a great time for the workers because employers are really saying we're having a hard time finding people. We're going to have to raise wages. Now, the problem is with the raising of the wages, are they keeping up with inflation? And the direct answer to that is no, it's not. So therein lies the problems. But wages are going up. Wages are going up. And I'm with you, Roger. Roger says people are taking second jobs because one isn't enough. And you know something? That could add to that 390,000 jobs that were added in May. So you know something? That may be not far off the beaten path, Roger, that people are picking up other jobs on top of their primary jobs to keep up with inflation. That's one thing. Another thing, while you look at the unemployment numbers keep going up and going down, going up, going down, is that people are wanting to work from home because it saves them on childcare. Childcare, with everything that's going on, is going through the roof. And I'm a big fan of capitalism, believe you me, but I'm not a fan of gouging just because you're going to abuse people because they need your services. I think that's tough. But, you got to take the good with the bad when it comes down to capitalism, do you not? So it's a double-edged sword. People are going to pay for the things that they need. And if those things that are needed are in low supply, you can raise prices for people to pay for that demand. All right, so it is what it is. Gig jobs are affecting the economy. Al, I'm in the gig job space, being that I'm a DJ as well. So I work here at VectorVest, and believe you me, I do well from a perspective of money. I enjoy DJing, but that now puts me into that gig jobs as well. Does that affect the job numbers? Well, I say yes, but I say no. I say yes because it enters into the realm of entrepreneurialism. All right. I think that when COVID came and a lot of people didn't want to go back to work for somebody else, entrepreneurship grew exponentially. A lot of people have created their own, companies. Now, we won't know how good or bad these companies are for the next 3 to 4 years when they either make it or they don't. All right. Sonny says childcare is valuable. It is. I know it is. And people are feeling that because if you got a two-person household working, it's almost to the point that one person is working just to pay childcare. And that's tough because now you leave it on the other person to pay all of the other bills. Normally, when you have a two-person working household, you work together to pay the bills. But when one person is actually working just to pay for childcare, that's tough. That is tough. If the Fed's quantitative tightening is over-applied, can it quickly correct itself such that a recession can be avoided? And Kenneth, my answer to that is I don't think so. When you say tightening is over-applied, has it been over-applied? I mean, that's the first question that you have to ask. Has the Fed's tightening been over-applied? I think that it was slow to come to the game, and that's where we are. Because if they had started doing this a lot earlier, we may not be in the same situation that we are right now. All right, so that's the way I look at it. I don't think that the Fed is over applying anything. They are going after it the only way that they can. So that's the way I can answer it. I'm going to take one more question. When people stop paying credit cards because it comes down to food or credit card, people will choose food. We have never been here until this administration. I don't agree with that. I think that when COVID hit, a lot of people were in the same situations. But at the time, the Fed had the tools to stave off the pain. At this time, the Fed doesn't have the tools to stave off the pain. I think as soon as COVID hit, businesses were shut down or closed, and people were at home. Well, they weren't making money. So what were they doing originally? They were using their credit cards to get by. Then the Fed stepped in and the administration stepped in and said, we're going to give you help. And all of the stimulus went out. The unemployment benefits were boosted tremendously for those people who were at home. But prior to that happening, who asked me that? That was Natalie. Prior to that happening, people were already starting to depend on their credit cards, and the Fed backed them to keep this from going deeper. All right. So that's the way I answered that question. That's the way I answer that question. But right now, the tools aren't there to back up the people. And you're right that people had money in their hands from the stimulus. That money is all gone. They had money in their hands from the stimulus and from the unemployment benefits. All of that money is gone. Now they're starting to go through their savings. Once that's done, they're going to start using their credit cards. And you're absolutely right that when it comes down to pay the bill for your credit card or your food, where are you going to pay your money? To your food. I'm thinking that at some point in time, credit card defaults are going to go up astronomically. Astronomically. I think that, and I'm with you, John, I think at this point that a recession is inevitable. I think with coming to the party late, that inflation, a recession, I don't think it happens until next year, but I think it's inevitable. All right, more information. Inflation, and this goes back to what a lot of you were just saying and what I was saying. Inflation, political division put U.S. in a pessimistic mood, polls found. I know that when everybody who follows me on Facebook knows I love bacon. I make a lot of posts about bacon. When I went to the store to go buy bacon, $9 a pound of bacon is expensive. Now, again, that was the higher end bacon, but $9 a pound for bacon? That's crazy. All right. Another Fed person, Brainerd, says, too soon to say if the pace of rate increases can slow. All right. And I think that it doesn't slow. I think that it needs, personally, I think it needs to pick up. I still think that one of these rate hikes needs to be 100 basis points. And a lot of people will say, well, that'll crash the economy. What's the economy doing right now? Right now, technically, it's still moving. Why? Because all of those jobs in May were out there. It still shows that the economy is okay. Okay. That's just the word, okay. But when you look at supply chains, you look at inflation, the economy is not there. The economy is not faring very well. And I think that the news that gets put out there, you were already late to the party when it came to trying to slow down the economy from the stimulus. All right, so I just, a lot of this is what I'm thinking, but a lot of things is what you see right here. Economy the week ahead, inflation is still in focus, and I think it's going to stay prevalent for the longest time. Tuesday, trade deficit hit a record high in March as demand for consumers and businesses fueled a surge in imports. Thursday, European Central Bank is expected to confirm plans to end a bond purchasing program and start raising interest rates this summer in an effort to quell record high inflation. That's in Europe. Friday, economists estimates that China's consumer price index edged higher in May because of the rising pork prices and disruptions related to COVID-19 lockdowns. Though overall inflation pressure in the country still appears muted. All right, Joey, whoever that is, we need to shut that down, please. I hate when that happens. Does that mean that we hit the big time, that someone came in here and did that? I'm just curious to know. Does that mean that when somebody comes in here and just spams like that, does that mean we hit the big time? By the way, if you're brand new to the channel and you haven't done it already, please hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you'll be alerted when new videos like this come out. And if you like the content, by all means, please hit the like button. All right, this is news today. How about this? Solar stocks jump after Biden administration announces tariff suspensions. So now, step one. Joey, can we stop them from still going? That's still going. Step one was the push to electric vehicles. It looks like it's taken hold, right? A lot of demand peaking up for electric vehicles. Step two, looking at nuclear power plants. Uranium stocks took off. Is this step three? Now solar stocks jump after Biden administration announces tariff suspensions. It looks like we're still pushing for cleaner energy. And no matter how much we say that we're pushing for clean energy, our electricity, the majority of our electricity comes from coal. I don't think that's ever going to change. It's not going to change anytime in the near future. So very interesting in that there's another clean energy space now being talked about. Okay. Another thing, Bitcoin rises after snapping longest ever losing streak as investors seek a market bottom. All right. How do I protect my 401k savings? I don't mind electric, but there has to be an effective plan. Well, Natalie, when you ask that question, there's a lot of things that you have to know about yourself. What is your time horizon? What is your pain point or your risk to reward point? There's a lot of things, and a lot of things that we do here in Trending Thursday, in Midday Market, in Afternoon Market Action on Wednesdays. We give you some things to look at, but then we always talk about, especially in Trending Thursdays, what sectors are rising. That's a place to look for your 401k. Now my 401k, I have a certain portion that's self-directed, and I do better than what I do from the mutual funds. I'm blowing the mutual fund side of my portfolio out of the water because I've got X amount of my portfolio that's self-directed by me. I wish that I could self-direct my whole 401k, but you can't do that. All right. So from that perspective, I look at what sectors are moving. In that side of my 401k that I manage myself, I'm a lot more aggressive with that because I've got the tools to be a lot more aggressive to grow that side of my portfolio. Now, when it comes to the side of my portfolio that's run by the mutual funds, well, then when the market gets crappy, I start moving those mutual funds to the safest stuff I can, preferably to cash if I can. But if not, the safest bond stuff that I can get into, at least then my portfolio will take a lot less of a hit than not. But the side of my portfolio that's self-managed by me outdoes my mutual fund side in a greater way. And I'm running that. I only can control just a certain part of my 401k that way. All right. So between the Fed and the Treasury, they've never not overdriven the economy one way or the other. Well, it's the economy. It's what the Fed does. The Fed does what they got to do. And I don't think that they're always bad. Do they always over-embellish? Over-embellish is not a good word. Do they do they always overdo it? I don't think that they always overdo it, but I think more times than not, they overdo it. I think more times than not, they do overdo it. All right, what else is going on? So keep your eyes on both solar and Bitcoin. Oil tops $120 a barrel on Saudi pricing despite OPEC deal. That OPEC deal was crap. It was nothing. I think it was like 640,000 barrels a day is what they were releasing globally. We released 1 million of our reserves within the U.S., and it did pretty much nothing. This deal was nothing. So I think oil is still a good place to have your money. I've been saying that for the past few months. The supply is not there, the demand is, and oil is still going to continue to rise. And the only way that changes is when pretty much we start drilling our own. Francisco says, what do you think about swing trading? I'm not talking about swing trading today. I'm just not going to do it. All right. Charlie says, are you sure it was a pound of bacon and not 12 ounces? It probably was. I don't know. I thought it was a pound of bacon, Charlie. I've been... and Monica says, yes, but you guys have been calling for the bottom before the move happened. Now, that's another thing. Our indicators have been telling us that the market is looking for a bottom, Monica. But what kind of catalyst do we have to actually substantiate a real bottom? Therein lies the problem. And then I've done a video talking about the market looking for a bottom on this YouTube channel. And one of the things that I said is that we're going to be looking for several bottoms. How many of you in the room look at the other videos that we have on our YouTube channel? Type a 1 in the room. If you don't watch any of the other stuff besides the live stuff that we do here, type a 2 in the room. But we've got a lot of other videos specifically talking about what's going on in current markets conditions. In that video that I said, Monica, that we are going to be experiencing a lot or several bottoms, but always know that when we have been bouncing recently, that those bounces have not, or they have been short-lived, FSLR pulled back a lot today. That's a stock that I'm going to talk about and I'm going to show you some other stocks that we have. Excuse me. I'm going to show you some other stocks that we have in that space. Francisco says it's hard to time the market. Francisco, we've been doing it for 30 years. All right. I'm going to go over a little bit of that in a moment too. Couple of other stories. U.S. aims to ramp up international tourism hit hard by COVID. So now the government says, all right, it's time to prop up these companies, these travel companies that have been hit by COVID. All right. So we know about what's going on with JetBlue. JetBlue sweetens the deal in an offer to buy out Spirit Airlines. All right, so that's one side of it. We are going to look at some travel stocks for you guys to start to keep your eyes on. Because, of course, folks, when the government steps in and say that they're going to help you, woo, you better stand back and keep your eyes open. And you got to go, ooh, wee. All right. Really, you don't have to do any of that. But if the government's going to step in and say that they want to go after that space that has been hit prior to COVID, I'm going to give you some stocks to look at. Here's another one. I can't get, Joey, you got to chime in here. I can't get away from any EV story. Every time I'm going live, I got to talk about EVs. This wasn't the day that I was going to talk about EVs.
Here you are.
But here I am. But the reason why, Joey, this is big news. And it's not Lucid, it's not Rivian. This is another EV. NIO agrees to chip supply partnerships with AMD. That's big because a lot of these EVs are having a problem delivering product because of the chip shortage. NIO agrees to a chip supply partnership. What makes you think that if this works, that this could be huge for AMD, folks? More so than NIO. This could be huge for AMD because if this works out, then maybe Lucid comes and say, hey, AMD, what you got? Tesla may go, hey, AMD, what you got? This could be huge. I'm putting this out there right now, folks, that this could be huge for AMD more so than the EVs. Let it be known, Glenn said it today. Keep your eyes on AMD. I'm thinking that that may not be a bad play with this deal. And if other EVs come to them for it. All right. So let's just keep that in mind. One last story. Musk says he may drop the Twitter deal if fake account data is not provided. I haven't been paying a whole lot attention to this, except for his news. So I'm putting it out as news. But on the other side of the Musk saga, everybody, I think we need to have a hashtag Musk saga. Musk backtracks about, hey, either come to work or don't come to work. I think that a lot of people were like, yo, bro, that was a little much. That was a little much, bruh. It went from bro, and then when it's serious, it goes to bruh. Yo, bruh. I think that was a little bit tough to say. Musk backtracks on job cuts. Says Tesla's salaried staff to be fairly flat. He had to jump back a little bit. Because you know something? I think Musk is what everybody likes in that he's going to say what he wants to say. He don't care. He say, you nasty Musk. I don't care. Right, Joey?
That's right.
That's right. So this is very interesting that he had to step back and either you come to work or you don't come to work. All right. So the road to an electric vehicle world is longer than most people think. A lot of materials for them is short supply. Lee, if you've heard me, I've talked about EVs for the longest time. I think it's not going to be nearly as long as most people think. I think the infrastructure is being built to sustain these cars. The money that was in the infrastructure bill that turned into a law is being let out to the states so the states can do this. All right, so I think it's not as long as what you think it may be. I don't think that it's short. Don't get me wrong. I don't think it's going to happen tomorrow. But I think that with the demand, the other side of that, Lee, is if these companies can supply the product in time. That's the other side of it. Can these EVs supply the products? And with the shortages of materials, as you say, that could stop it. That's why I think that AMD story is big. I really do think that AMD, you guys need to keep your eyes on AMD. And then the last thing, I think that this was comical, even though it's news. Tesla to have a working prototype of Tesla bot by September 30th. Interesting. So I thought that this was in light of him telling everybody, well, if you don't come to work, then you can stay home. And then I saw this story. This came out on June 5th, came out yesterday. Tesla to have a working prototype of Tesla bot to do the work. This is going to be interesting. Very, very interesting. All right, so those are all my major stories. Coming back to the market timing graph, the question came up, said that it's tough to time the market. Let me show you something. The slowest, most conservative call that we've had, the confirmed call, the last call we got, and we don't always do this, but that's a good question. Last call we got was on 329. It very quickly turned to a confirmed down call. So since 4/12 of 2022, our slowest, most conservative call has been in a confirmed down. I think that's a good call. Even with the move up, that slow call hasn't turned to an up yet. Now, that's the slowest call. Now, I'm going to go to an intermediate call called the DEW. Notice that one gave us a call most recently, Thursday. We got an up call coming close to breaking through the upper trend line of the wedge. That's a precursor. All right. The fastest timing call we have is the primary wave. That has had us in the market to the upside since 525. So we do and can time the market. And depending on how aggressive or conservative you are, there is a market timing call for you. So for those people who are like, yo, this market's moving up, but VectorVest is not telling me anything. Sure it is. All right, we had a little bit of whipsaw right here, but currently we are in an up call for those people who are a lot more aggressive. For those of you who are a little bit more swing traderish, well, then here's the DEW, and that didn't issue a call until Thursday, but it's still up. But those people who are the slower, more longer-term minded, we are still in a confirmed down call and have been since 4/12 of 2022. All right? For all of those people, and that's a great question, and I never have an issue with explaining our market timing and how it can help you depending on how you invest in the market. So depending on how, if you want to trade, if you want to swing trade, if you're a longer term buy and hold person, we have a market timing call for you. Francis says, I don't think we have much downside unless the Fed decides to hike 100 basis points. Now, you know me, I feel that we need to do that, but you're right that if they do, that will crash the market. That really would. I still don't think, Francis, and I hear you, that you don't think there's much downside. Well, if I look at our indicators that we look for timing the market, right now we're not currently looking for a bottom. Neither one of our indicators is saying that we're looking for a bottom. So you're right now. I'd like to see if we've got the ability to break through this trend line, the upper trend line of the wedge. Monica on Facebook says, I agree. I do know that you have said several times that the rallies will be short-lived. I just meant to catch the wedge move. I guess when the news comes out to look for a bottom, then keep an eye out on the pattern. Now, every time that there's a move, a bottom fishing opportunity, it doesn't always mean we're in a wedge. We're just currently in the wedge, which means that the market is doing a little bit of consolidation right now. And based on this consolidation pattern, I can see when the market breaks in either direction. And if it does break to the upside on no really good news, I still will tell you to be careful. I still will tell you to be careful. Kenneth says, Musk is what I call strategically mercurial. I'm mercurial. If you ever deal with me on an ongoing basis, I'm extremely mercurial. He plays the public to maintain visibility and to maintain his brand. He's smart and dangerous. I do not buy his cult personality. I don't know if it's a cult personality or if it's just thinking outside of the box and being innovative. Now, I don't doubt that he's doing everything on the social media side to stay relevant. All right, to stay relevant. I'm with you on that. But I still think that he's a businessman that's willing to take chances. Tesla was a huge chance for him. All right, going down the world of electric prior to everybody even jumping on board with it. That was a big move. SpaceX. Who thought that SpaceX was going to be a big thing? I think the timing was right when NASA said, well, we're not being NASA anymore. He might have picked the right time. That was the right time to go with SpaceX. But I think that he's a good businessman, in my opinion. And I like that. Kenneth says, stick with VV Nation, folks. I love that. Hey, if you haven't hit the like button already, hit the like button, especially. We got some good conversation going on today. We got some good conversation going on today. If you haven't hit the like button yet, please do. All right, we still got a little bit more to do. Jazz says, what I miss. Why was live chat so late? We've been live chatting since we started, Jazz. Michael says, I'm long EGY and I wonder why this is down with no debt with 45 million in cash. Oh, listen, when a stock goes down, there's usually news behind it, or there's probably profit taking. It's one of the two. I haven't looked at the stock, so I can't give you an answer as to why. All right, let's go see what's going on across the board and all. All right, we paid a lot of attention to the VVC because you guys had questions about timing the market and what we're looking for as far as a bottom, looking at the wedge. But let's go around the board. Here's the VVC. And I got a 20-day exponential moving average, 20-period exponential moving average, because I'm looking at intraday 5-minute bars. I'm looking at intraday 5-minute bars. All right. And I already talked about that, Lou, in the beginning about why solar is moving up today. We're going to talk about that. All right. The VectorVest composite is broke down below the gap up. All of our stocks, all of the major indices broke down below their gaps up today. All of them. And since we've been on, the Qs have been taking it on the chin. Look at the tech stocks going down, approaching a level of support of 305.68 real time. The Dow is just going through levels and levels, creating levels and levels of support. The spiders going down below the 20-period exponential moving average, and our own VectorVest composite moving down and below the 20-period exponential moving averages. So, listen, this is what's going on. And that's why my alert today was talking about a dead cat bounce. Did we start off this morning with a dead cat bounce? Every major index gapped up this morning, but as we look now, they're trading lower than where they opened up at. All right, so we'll see. All right, let's go back to the viewers tab. Major indices. Low dollar stocks are moving up today. There's the IWM or the Russell 2000. Volatility on the S&P 500 is up today. Now, normally when the VIX is up, that bodes well for a down day. I'm wondering, let me get to the homepage. I'm wondering if the market finishes in the red today, folks. Interesting, right? I'm wondering if the market finishes in the red or mixed. In the red or mixed. And couple that with the graph of the VectorVest composite at the range of the top level of resistance. Folks, I can't make this up. This is what's going on. As we are getting closer to that level of the upper level of resistance, we're pulling back. We look at the market today, we're pulling back. Was today a dead cat bounce? All right, so again, market's moving up. There is no catalyst to push it higher. Where is it? Where's the good news to push the market through that level of resistance? All right, so I'm just putting that out there. Let's go back to the viewers tab. Big news. Here's all of the stocks that I saw today that hit the big news. And the only other one that I want to put in here is AMD. I did not put that into the here. But AMD, I'm telling you to keep your eyes on it. I'm thinking that news with NEO could really move it. Looking at all of these stocks, there's only 10. Out of all of that news, I've got 10 stocks. There's my JKS, my Jinko Solar. There's Tesla. He talked about that. There's oil. The government is getting in on travel stocks. Tripcom is in here. JetBlue is in here. Jets is in here. Those are 3 stocks for that space. There's the NEO story. It's in there. Twitter. And you know something? I've expected that to be down a little bit more today, especially if he's tweeting that, I may back out of the Twitter deal if I can't get the data that I'm looking at on these fake accounts. I actually expected Twitter to go down a little bit more today. You know what else I'm going to add to the list? Amazon. Why? Because the 20-for-1 split just hit today. How many of you who did not have Amazon bought into Amazon today? I raised my hand. Type of 1. How many of you who were not in Amazon bought Amazon today with the 20-for-1 split? And I raised my hand. Type of 1 in the room. If you didn't buy, if you don't care about Amazon, type of 2. But I jumped on board with Amazon. We'll see what happens. All right. So looking at all of these stocks, you were already in it, Roger. I got you. Miss McClintock said nope. A lot of people, Raphael said nope. A lot of people saying no. I jumped on board with it. At $126 compared to where it was before, like $2,000, I took it. I took it. You know what's going to be interesting? If it's got that kind of pull to pull that stock's price up to close to where it was in a short amount of time, there's going to be a lot of people that make a lot of money. There could be a lot of people that make a lot of money. All right, let's go look at the top 4 moving stocks in here. Jinko Solar, again, the Biden administration removed the tariffs on another clean energy space. Just interesting. Electric, uranium for nuclear power plants, and now looking at solar. It is what it is. What else is in here? There's a Trip stock. There's Neo, and then we talked about crypto starting to move. The only real crypto that I'm going to look at here is Coinbase. Let's go take a look at these stocks from the standpoint of what to invest in right now. Let's go put all of these on today. Intraday 5-minute bars. Let's go put on my quad thingy. Let's go see if any of these from the news are worth it to get into today. All right. I did like Jinko. Right now it's below, on a day trading basis, it is below my 20-day exponential moving average, but I'm going to keep my eyes on it. Neo with the news leveled into a level of support. I'd wait on that. Trip.com gapped up nicely, leveling out. I'd wait on that. And then the crypto stock coin, what I've got here for crypto, gapped up nicely. But right now, I'd like to see it, any of these before I get into them for today. I'd like to see me get above that 20-period exponential moving average. But these are news driven today. We had stories on all of these today. From a day trade perspective, I still do like Jinko Solar. I would really like to see it move higher than the session high. The session high happened at the first bar. TCOM, the Trip.com, the session high happened at the first bar. Neo, the session high happened at the first bar. And Coin was the only one where the session high happened later in the morning session. But 3 of these, the session highs hit at the market open. Jazz says, bought Amazon May 24th. Way to go. A lot of you said that no, you were not thinking about buying Amazon. And that's fine. Chewy says hello. Hi, Chewy. Monica said no, didn't get in. Orange on Facebook said he got into it as well. Never bought stocks before waiting for the dial back up to 31,800 to another stock. Listen, I'm looking, as we looked at all of the indices, I'm going to close these out. As we looked at all of the indices, I think that, and let's go back to the homepage. What did I say? I still think that the market has the opportunity to finish in the red. It's only about 1 o'clock. I'm thinking that could happen. Either we finish in the red or we finish with a mixed market after the market was up. We'll see. Now, I'm speculating. Believe you me, I'm speculating based on what I see. I'm a little thirsty today. The U.S. is the largest oil producing country today on paper. We are energy independent, but the U.S. oil is privatized and the U.S. lifted oil export ban in 2015. Oil is priced. I know. And I think we can be oil independent. Listen, that comes down to more politically than I want to discuss. All right. It really, 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 really does. But I do have an idea that if we've got the oil, why not use it? All right. And that's all I'm going to say about that. That's all I got to say about that. Jenny said, don't talk politics in the building because you can't do that. And I said, okay, Jenny, we're not going to talk about politics. And just like that, the rain stopped. Bubba! All right. I don't know where all of that just came from. That was a montage. That was a montage of Forrest Gump for no reason. Oh, that was a montage. Hey, I went and saw Top Gun Maverick. It was amazing. It was amazing. Thirsty today. It's all that dehydrating alcohol on the weekend. Nah, I don't do alcohol. I got the diabetes. See, the problem is when I'm thirsty, that's not good diabetically. All right? That's not good diabetically. So when I'm drinking water, my sugar ain't right. I got to work on that. Earnings this week, there wasn't a lot. We're in the month of June, so we're coming up to the end of the second quarter reporting. We're coming up to the end. So it wasn't a whole lot of big stocks that I still saw in there. But let's take the top four. These are either happening today or will be happening by Friday. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's take a look at the top four. Actually, let's sort these by relative safety. Let's see which ones. Only one, Thor Industries, has a relative safety above 1. All right. Let's go sort by this again. 1, 2, 3. Thor is the only one that had a relative safety above 1 out of all of these stocks. Top Gun Maverick, he is intense. Love the movie. It was an amazing movie. Joyce says you nailed Forrest. Well, thank you for that, Joyce. Because Mama said, if anybody ever says that you don't sound like Forrest Gump, you let him know you're Forrest Gump. Okay, let's go take a look. Let's go take a look at these stocks. All right, so these are stocks that have earnings coming up. Say again, you leave. Joey said he's leaving. Joey, you don't leave. Don't leave, Joey. All right, let's go take a look at these stocks. Oh my goodness. I think that none of them, I want to put them all on a 3-month, because if earnings are coming up on them, I want you to get a feel of what earnings should look like. Good gravy. All of these earnings are what? Falling down, except for Dave & Buster's. Dave & Buster's does have rising earnings. All right, but man, Billuby, I do like the move on the stock, but I don't like the earnings. Neo, this is news driven, but they got earnings coming out this week too. I'm wondering if the story with them, well, I don't know if that's enough to move it from earnings. It's not. It's not. But a lot of these stocks are leveling out. I do like Billuby. It is moving up, recently finding a level of support, but I don't like the earnings. Glenn, please start singing too. I'm not going to sing today. I don't want to sing. All right, Glenn, check out Wire. Check out Wire. I didn't say that I wanted to check out any individual stocks today. Nobody. All right, but I will. I'll go check out Wire. Now, remember, I'm not looking at it from a news perspective. I'll look at that from a day trade perspective, though, like that. From a day trade perspective, it's been going up all day long. I like that. If I'm going to think about getting into it today from a day trade perspective, I go 12 cents higher than the high, which would be 146.58, 148.60. I'd put in a buy order today at a stop price of 148.60. That's a beautiful looking graph. That's a beautiful looking graph, Mark. Good gravy. Let's go look at that on a 3-month graph. Do I like it? Man, even from a swing trade, I like it. It's hitting a new 3-month high today. I don't know what the news is on it, though. Sigh. Let's go check to see if there's any news on it. It's up 8% today. 4 days ago, features highlights, PDC, Encore Wire. I don't know. Stock moves, what you should know. That's 5 days ago. Let's go to press release. Wonder if there's any news, any real news on it. That's last month. I don't know what news there is. What is the sell on Wire, Glenn? What do you mean? What do you mean? What is the sell? So I gave you an opportunity to know when to get in. You know what I would do with a stock that's moving like this? I'd look at the previous day's low as a way to get out. All right, on a stock that's moving. So now look at this. Let's say I got into Wire back here when it crossed above the 20-day. All right, and it went up the next day. I'm like, I'm not lower than the prior day's low, not lower than the prior day's low, not lower than and even here, not lower than the prior day's low, but here I am lower than the prior day's low. That's when I would have gotten out. Does that make sense, Jazz? On a stock like this, it's moving up like this, I would use the prior day's low as a way to get out of it. All right. I would look at, so that's the way I would look at it. Glenn, it would be better if you wait to buy Amazon if the market is going. I'm already in it. I picked up my shares already today. I picked up my shares. And again, I like that analysis from a day trading perspective. Let's say I got in here when it went above. I'm good. I'm bad. I get out. I still probably made money here. Then I got another opportunity to get in. And even here, the price didn't go lower than the prior day's low. Price didn't go lower than the prior day's low, but it did here. I like that from a trade perspective, from that perspective. And so I gave you the opportunity to give the buy opportunity, and now how about what to do for the sell? All right, what else I got going on? Fastest sectors. Let's go see what sectors are moving up the fastest. Delta searches sectors, and this is another reason why you come here. How about to see what's moving in the current market's conditions? So I've got a one-off from something that's already in the software. For those of you who are VectorVest subscribers, we have a 10-day price delta, but I've done a little different where I'm looking. Somebody sent me an email. Somebody sent me an email saying that when they did this, they got an error. All right. I haven't looked at the email. I know I saw the email. I got to look at the email. If you're not doing it the way that I'm doing, you're not doing something. You're not doing something. Mark says, gave Steve a heads up on this morning. He liked it also. I like that. So now what I'm looking for in this, I'm looking for sectors that have made money over the last 20 days as far as price, but over the last day are making more. Here, look at this. Retail, only up about 0.5% over the last 20 days, but look at the move in the last 10 days. That's hotness right there. That's the hotnosity. That's a huge move. So now with a move like that, from only up 0.5% over the last 20 days to up over 11% in the last 10 days, that catches my attention. Now I'm going to go view the stocks in that. Now, because a lot of you are not subscribers to the VectorVest software, I'm not going to show you all the stocks. We've got 245 stocks in this sector. I'm only going to show you 5. From here, I can see which ones are moving. And from that perspective, let's go see, view the stock graph. Let's go put these on my quad thingy. And now I've got another opportunity to find what's moving. Look at that. BXC hitting a new high as we've been on. How about PAG hitting a new high since we've been on? How about AutoNation hitting a new high since we've been on? From a day trade perspective, folks, that little search that I did, no matter what the day is given, whether it's a bullish day, a bearish day, a neutral day, blah, 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 that which I just did will always put in your hands stocks for a great opportunity to trade throughout the day. But look at this. 1, 2, look at these 3 graphs. This one not nearly as much, but look at these 3 graphs. How quickly was I able to find them? How quickly was I able to find them? I'm going to close out of the graphs. And that was kind of cool. How many of you thought that was cool? Especially if you're not a subscriber to the software. Type a 1 if you thought that was cool. All right, that's an awesome way to run. And I've got it, not only is a 10-day price delta, but it's a 10-day price delta strong sector. But that's huge. When I can see a sector that's only up 0.5% over the last 20 days, but up over 11% in the last 10 days, I don't think I got anything up that's high. That's that high. All right, so how many likes do we have today, Joey? I want to see. How many likes? 66. Well, it is what it is. It is what it is. I'm trying to show you some good stuff, folks. This is what we're here for. I'm trying to show you some good stuff. All right. Let's go to the viewers tab, industries. Let's see where the money's going today. What is the Jockey Club folder? Don't start, Mark. Do not start. And don't ask for your friend. All right. Don't start. Actually, I'm not in the right one. I don't think I have it in here. I don't have it in here. I'm in a different VectorVest 7. So I don't have it. Where's the money going today? Natural gas? Yeah, I know Lisa was going to laugh. Natural gas, copper, materials, but the 2 biggest movers are copper and natural gas. Got a couple of other greens, but that's another thing. I built this watch list of indices across the broad spectrum of investing: energy, healthcare, consumer staples, real estate, gold, oil, industrial, the 600, financials. So I can always find out where the money is going at any given time. All right. My speculative plays, I love to bring stocks to your attention for you to just keep your eyes on. All of them are up nicely today. All of these are being picked for some reason, some technical reason. So I've gone through, I've looked at the 3/8, I've looked at a lot of different things to bring these 8 stocks to your attention. Let's go look at the top 4 first. 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice that none of these is sells. Look at the earnings, the earnings growth on all of these stocks are like 20 or above. So these are good, solid stocks, even though I've got them as speculative plays. Let's view the stock graph of the top 4. Put them on my quad thingy. All right, energy clean. So you know that that's going to be solar, right? But look at this, another petroleum stock. Look at the move of it today, PHX. Look at Spirit Airlines. Well, because they're going through that whole JetBlue thing. Look at that move. Own Conductor. iSun is a little choppy in the move. I wouldn't take advantage of that today, but I've got a couple of here. And I try to look at smaller dollar stocks for those of you who may not have a lot of money in the market. Let's go with this 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go look at the bottom 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right click, view the stock graph. Let's do it again. All right, so we are looking at intraday 5-minute bars. Now, I don't like this stock because of the lack of trading. All right, it is moving, but I don't like the non-traded bars. GTE is the only one that I'm looking at right now that looks, but it's stuck at a level of resistance. Martin, the high of the day was the first candle. All right, so the top 4 gave me a couple of more candidates than the bottom 4. All right, the top 4 gave me a couple more candidates than the bottom 4. What about ABCL, which is a biotech with no debt, with I think over 800 million in cash? You know something, Michael, you can give me all of the goodness behind the company, but do they make money? So what was that? ABCL. Let's go look at it. So you can tell me on paper what it looked like, but let's go look at it. I don't like it. I don't like it right. And I'm looking at a 3-month graph. I don't like it right away. Stock is consolidating, but look at the earnings. So it may have a lot of money. It may have no debt. Do I want it? I'm not thinking that I do. Not yet. There's a difference between what a stock looks like on paper and what it looks like to a person who's buying it. I'm not feeling that. Not until it breaks out of this, at least this headwind. It's moving sideways, but I don't like that the earnings is falling down. Does that make sense, Michael? All right. I know what it says on paper, but does that make sense? All right. Today's big movers. What stocks are moving up the most today? Let's go take a look at the top 4. I can always bring up to my attention what stocks are moving up the fastest. 1, 2, 3, 4. Highlight them. Right click. View the stock graph. This came from a search. Percent price poppers. Let's go put this on my quad thingy. I'm not feeling any of them. A lot of them has already made their move. I'm wondering if this stock was bought out. This was, I don't know, FTCI. These stocks all really made their moves at the market open. Since then, not much more. Not much more. So I always get that in the jockey club. Hey, go look at this stock that's up 30 some odd percent. Okay, that's fine. What has it done for me lately? That's the Janet Jackson question that I have to ask when I'm looking at these stocks. What has it done for me lately? Drug plays don't always need earnings. I'm okay with that. But, from that drug company, what's that? From that drug company, ABCL, what's the news? All right, let's go see if there's news. Before I totally turn it down, let's go see what the news is. It's only up about 2% today. All right, so yesterday, stock falls 4.6% in the last week as 1-year earnings and shareholders' return continue downward trend. Now I got news behind it. I ain't getting it. I noticed insiders been buying shares in ABCL and the chart looks bad. So now, how about this, Michael? This was yesterday. That's more fodder to say I don't want it right now. Does that make sense? Now I just went and took a look at it. I don't want you guys to ever just get caught up on what you think the stock is doing. Look at a graph and look to see what news could be moving it, whether up or down. All right. Hopefully that makes sense. Now, does that mean I'm beating up on you, Michael? Not at all. I just want to bring to the table the analysis that you need to make the right decisions. That's what this was all about. I ain't beating up on nobody, nor will I ever. I want to educate you, not berate you. I'd rather to educate you than to berate you. All right, let's go back to the viewers tab. Weekly watch list. Remember I told you I'd keep my eyes on some of the solar stocks. I made a watch list of solar stocks here for you. All right, here they all are. The only one that's going down today that I got is First Solar. Somebody said, why is First Solar is the only one that's going down out of my 9 solar stocks? I have the biggest mover. Let's go take a look at these on my graph. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right click, view the stock graph. Let's go put down all 4. I bet you a lot of these made their moves in the morning too. Yeah, they did. They haven't really made any big moves since then. Yep. So what I do with this, let's go put all of these now on a 3-month graph and give a different perspective. I like DQ. Look at that. A little bit of a give back today. I think that's profit taking. I like DQ's graph. I like it with the earnings. I like CSIQ. I like it with the earnings. I like ENPH. I like it with the earnings. Run. I do like the move, but I don't like the earnings. There we go. Robert says ABCL and the growth is negative anyway. Yeah, that stock, and the news backed up my opinion on that stock as well, Robert. All right, the news backed it up. Wall Street bet stocks. What top 12 stocks on Wall Street bets? What are they doing? They ain't doing a whole lot. What's moving the most? Forward Industries, Jupai, Amazon. Of course, Amazon would be in there because of the split. Tesla. But then again, this is, again, meme stocks. Just, Patrick's a big guy on GME. I like AMC. Neither one of them. I'd rather you learn how to time these than try to hold on to them for the long term. All right. Which is the best solar company? Let's go back to this. If you have to ask that question, out of the 9, I'd look by VST. It would be DQ. All right. It's got the best combination of value, safety, and timing. Let me move this over. I like that stock. 46% earnings growth, earnings yield 20.49. It's a buy recommendation. It's good upside potential, good safety in an uptrend. Out of the 9, the stock that's got the best combination of value, safety, and timing would be DQ. There you go, Michael. All right, there you go. That's my quick answer on the fly. All right, Joey, put me on to my thing. Which one is it? It's that one. All right. Hey, if you haven't already hit the subscribe button, do it. Wow, Roger, really? Holy smokes. I'm not even putting that up. Good. Googly money. Sigh. Now, I don't even know if that was a joke or if that was for real. I don't know.